Hello, welcome to European Open Briefing for Monday, April the 16th. I'm Rafi Barjan, currency analyst at XM.com, and we're going to be having a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. So it's quite relatively calm in financial markets this morning, particularly in FX markets. We had that US-led strikes on Syria on early Saturday morning, but there's limited fallout on Monday as those strikes were seen as a one-off. So we're not seeing a big boost to risk aversion this morning, and with the dollar is slightly lower. The dollar was spotted on Friday from hawkish remarks from a Fed policymaker. We're going to have more Fed speakers making public appearances this week, so that will likely be the main driver for the US currency this week. Oil prices have slipped following those easing of tensions in the Middle East, and we're seeing the pound, the Aussie, and the Kiwi hold near their multi-week highs set late last week, while the euro is looking fairly subdued at the moment. So let's take a quick look now at the major pairs and equity indices. We can see the dollar slightly lower, the euro and the pound. The euro has started to perk up a little bit at the moment, and the pound is also firmer. The Aussie is slightly up, Kiwi flat. Gold has erased some of its earlier losses. We're seeing in equities mixed result in Asia, as well as at the European Open this morning, though on Friday strong earnings results didn't provide much of a boost to Wall Street. Let's get started with the US dollar. We can see dollar index did manage to rally a bit late last week. At the moment it's come down those 7-week highs to around 107.24. Dollar index, though, has been more or less flat over the past 2 to 3 days. So we had that US-led strike, which US was joined by Britain and France, and they carried out limited strikes on chemical weapons facilities in Syria early Saturday morning. But all the indications are that this was a one-off move. We're not likely to be seeing a prolonged military action in Syria. So we did see just a small rise in safe haven assets this morning before they quickly fell back again. On Friday, we also heard Boston Fed President Eric Rosengrund saying that we could potentially see 4 rate hikes this year, and we're going to have more Fed speakers coming up this week, including today from Raphael Bostic, Neil Kashkari, plus we're going to have US retail sales as well. Also, earnings season gets into full swing this week, so if we do see the Dow Jones and S&P getting a big boost, that could also potentially boost the US currency too. Moving now to the commodities, we can see gold moving slightly higher early, Asian trading before falling back. It's currently trading around $1,340 an ounce. There is still a bit of uncertainty. The US is expected to announce fresh sanctions on Russia, and we could see some sort of retaliation by Russia, either on those sanctions or against the strikes on Syria over the weekend, or both, as well as the possibility that if Syria does carry out more chemical weapons attacks, we could see further action by Western allies on Syria. So we haven't seen a complete easing away of that geopolitical risks relating to the Middle East, but oil, though, is down by 1.5% this morning, as we're not likely to see any further escalation in those tensions in the near term. Plus, we did see the US oil rig count rising again last week, so that is also weighing on oil prices this morning, though they're not too far away from last week's more than 3-year highs. WTI crude at the moment is trading around $66.40 an ounce. Let's now move on to European currencies. We can see the euro has been more or less flat. It's been confined to 1.2330, 1.2340 since Friday. We heard several ECB officials speaking last week. Most of them were fairly dovish. We also had the ECB's meeting minutes, which was quite cautious as well. So that did add some downside pressure on the signal currency. Which bringing to a halt its recent rally, which took it close to the $1.24 level earlier last week. Sterling, though, managed to extend its rally towards the end of last week until Friday, coming close to the $1.43 level, mainly being driven by expectations of a Bank of England rate hike coming next month, plus euro-pound weakness also helping pound-dollar a bit as well. But we've got several major risk events coming up this week for the UK. We've got the UK jobs report out tomorrow, to be followed by the March inflation numbers on Wednesday, plus retail sales coming up on Thursday. So all of that could potentially signal whether or not the Bank of England will raise rates at its next policy meeting. Let's move on to the Australian and New Zealand dollars. Both currencies hit multi-week highs on Friday. We saw the Aussie hitting a 1 month high and the Kiwi hitting a near 2 months high. And this morning, although they did fall back a little bit, they're not too far from those highs. We've got the RBA meeting minutes coming up tomorrow. It's unlikely they will cause much reaction in financial markets, given the RBA has been pretty clear that it remains neutral. But the jobs figures out of Australia on Thursday, that could potentially be a bigger risk for Aussie dollar. And for the Kiwi, we've got New Zealand's first quarter inflation numbers coming up on Thursday. And given the strong, very sharp rally for the Kiwi dollar over the past couple of weeks or so, that could potentially be at risk from that data. And finally, looking at the Canadian dollar, we can see those big gains, big losses if you're looking at USD CAD in early April. It's currently trading, Loonie is currently trading near those 7-week highs it hit last week, mainly on the back of the growing optimism about a successful deal in renegotiating NAFTA between Mexico, Canada, and the US. Higher oil prices also boosting the Loonie, but we've got a big risk event on Wednesday. We've got the Bank of Canada policy meeting. They're expected to hold rates, but given the optimism around NAFTA, plus we did see inflation unexpectedly strong last month, and we've got the latest numbers for March later this week. Bank of Canada could potentially turn hawkish at its meeting on Wednesday, and potentially lifting the Loonie further against the US currency. For the rest of the day, it's going to be fairly quiet in terms of data apart from US retail sales, but we will have a number of Fed speakers, including Robert Kaplan, Neil Kashkari, and Raphael Bostic. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.